As you might expect, gasoline is
My 75-year-old grandmother just reshared your tweet on Facebook based? What the fuck? What tweet? Sometimes forget that Facebook exists.
not just some kind of mysterious juice that comes out of the end of an enchanted snake. It's a $1 trillion industry. There's some fucking paperwork involved. In fact, there's a whole government agency called the Energy Information Administration that tracks exactly what contributes to the price of gasoline, and there's basically 4 factors. And not to spoil anything for you, but how much America's president wants gas to cost is not one of them. Let's give it a look-see, Family Feud style! In 4th place, contributing to about 14% of the price of gasoline, is distribution and marketing. This includes the price you pay to get gas from the refinery to the gas station, paying the people at the filling station, and advertising the incredible 1/10 of a cent discount you're getting on every gallon of gas. Fun fact, filling stations have one of the worst profit margins of any industry in the US, making an average profit of just 5 to 7 cents per gallon of gas. These guys don't make their money on gas. Gas is just to get people in the door where they can make their real profits selling Funyuns and Big Gulps. In 3rd place, with another 14% of the price of gas, is the cost of turning crude oil into sweet, sweet car juice, baby, which is fairly labor intensive and can also cost more depending on state regulations and corporate requirements. Again, the price of refining is fairly stable. So the only way to cut costs here is by appealing to the notoriously philanthropic nature of companies like ExxonMobil and BP and Shell. I'm being sarcastic. They love money. Those costs aren't coming down. In 2nd place, making up about 16% of the price of gasoline, are federal and state taxes and fees. That's the extra cost the federal and state government adds to gasoline to help pay for things like roads and bridges. And if you're thinking, hey, aren't America's roads and bridges absolutely falling apart? That might have something to do with the fact that the federal gas tax hasn't been raised since 1993. Now, state taxes are a contributing factor to variability across the US. California has higher gas prices because their state tax is one of the highest in the nation, plus they tack on some extra fees to try to account for the very real pollution that driving around creates. Which, seems like a good thing to try to account for. And not for nothing, but the federal gasoline tax in European countries like Germany, the UK, and France, just the tax, is $2.80 a gallon, which makes America's 18.4 cents a gallon, or even California's 51.1 cents a gallon, feel
which we literally voted for. We voted for an increase in gas taxes in this last election, not the primaries, obviously. We personally voted for it so our fucking infrastructure be fixed. I advocated for it as well. And except, of course, our infrastructure hasn't been fixed, so I don't know what's going on there. But then again, also, California is very expensive. It's a massive fucking state. And so I do understand that, that level of higher taxing is, even though it is literally nothing in comparison to a country that I grew up in, Turkey. Don't know what the gas taxes are there, but I'll tell you I'll tell you this much: it is certainly way more expensive. Every fucking European country has a way higher fucking gas tax and also higher prices on gas than the United States of America.
Kinda low in comparison. So they're not what's causing spikes or dips for the pinch at the pump.
The pinch at the pump?
The pinch at the pump.
The pinch at the pumps.
And in 1st place, with a commanding 10-year average of 56% of the price of gasoline, is oil, baby! That's right, we're talking Texas tea. I'm talking about that rock gravy, black gold, tank top and spank juice, pipeline piss, the old French Kevin, the old hot chocolate for cars. That's good though. Any way you slice it, the price of gasoline is basically just the global price of oil plus a handful of add-ons to get that oil to you. And if you're still not convinced, you skeptical son of a bitch, it's time to take a trip to Chart Town.
Maybe that's the reason why prices for gas have internationally increased, regardless of what the fucking American government has to say or do about it. Obviously, OPEC is still the main, one of the main controllers of what the gas prices look like.
Here we go. This is the price of crude oil, and this is the price of gasoline. And just for reference, here's a chart of the gas price versus tax, here's the gas price versus refinery costs, and here's the gas price versus distribution and marketing. Now, which one of these things looks like it's got the most impact on daily gas prices? So since price volatility of gasoline is almost exclusively due to price volatility of oil, maybe we should talk about how oil prices work. Now in America, we do drill and refine a lot of our own oil. But since every man, woman, and child drives around here,
Where were you going?
To the gas station.
How come?
Because I have reasons.
and underinvesting in public transportation is
It's called freedom, bitch. Look it up in a dictionary. Bet you don't even have one because you live in communist China where they don't have dictionaries.
basically a national pastime. We're forced to import about half the oil we use from other countries. But you know what, I'm sure that's not a lot. Holy hell, that's 9 million barrels of oil per year? Wait, that's per month? Wait, that's per day? And please don't let that "wait, that's per blank" thing undermine your confidence in me. I actually wrote that into the script. I just wanted to emphasize that it's 9 million barrels of oil per day. And at 42 gallons a barrel, America imports 378 million gallons of oil from other countries every day, which to me seemed like a lot. So whenever a politician says they want America to be more energy independent,
Energy independent.
Energy independent.
Energy independent.
and then they shoot down laws that promote electric vehicles or minimum fuel standards, it really makes me wonder whether they understand how American energy independence works. Because importing millions of barrels of oil from other countries every day doesn't feel real independent.
It almost feels like they use energy independence as a way to drill even more, despite the fact that we already have the opportunity to drill more than ever before, and yet they are still not fucking drilling more in an effort to maintain the prices that currently benefit every fucking person, maybe with the exception of like the gas station owners on that on the Price is Right lineup that it showed originally.
It to me, especially when those other countries have a lot to say about how global oil markets should work. And when I say other countries, I really mean the most powerful group of work friends on the planet, OPEC. This lighting is not going to work. Okay, all the way back in 1960, a group of oil-rich countries, including Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, Venezuela, and Saudi Arabia, got together and they formed OPEC. And if you thought the O stands for oil, you'd be wrong. I know, I thought that was a layup too. Probably oil producing, and then, I don't know. But it's actually the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. And they got together and formed themselves into a literal cartel. And just a quick note about cartels here. We usually only hear about cartels in episodes of NCIS, and it's usually just because some NCIS writer is trying to get out by 5 that day, and they need a shorthand for a group of people who's gonna cut you in half hot dog style if you try to touch their cocaine. It's also got a sort of cast of the OC goes to Mexico filter like this. Oh man, where are we, Juarez? But seriously, a cartel is actually pretty similar to a monopoly.
He's in Mexico. What the fuck?
The difference is a monopoly is...
How did he do that, chat? How did he do that? This guy, dude, I didn't know that Climate Town was all about fucking having so much free gas that they could just fucking fly anywhere they want to. He's in fucking Mexico. That's crazy.
One entity that controls the sale of something, and a cartel is a group of entities that agrees to lower the supply or raise the price in order to control the sale of something. So, by the early 1970s, OPEC countries had confiscated oil operations from the private companies running them, and giant government-run OPEC oil companies absolutely dominated the global supply of oil. And when I say dominated, I mean like LeBron James in high school basketball dominated.
Finally an opportunity to show the elevation, the windmill, the creativity, the
Okay,
extension.
it's my favorite channel.
See, in the oil game, there's this thing called reserves, which is an estimate of all the oil in the ground waiting to be drilled up. And as of 2018, OPEC countries were sitting on 79.4% of all the oil estimated to be in the ground. And that's actually pretty important, because even though America is currently drilling oil as fast as humanly possible, OPEC has a very deep bench. Oh, and one more thing. OPEC recently added a little country called Russia to the cartel. And OPEC, Russia, and a few other countries recently rebranded themselves as OPEC+. OPEC+ now holds the keys to 90% of all the world's proven oil reserves and 55% of the active oil supply on the global market. Now, 55% does not give you unfettered control over all things oil, but it does give you an incredible amount of leverage in the global oil supply. So while the United States might be the largest single country producer, OPEC Plus combines over 20 oil exporting countries, including Saudi Arabia, Iraq, and Russia, and the result is a cartel that truly has global oil by the balls. Russia. Weird. I feel like Russia's been in the news lately. Did they have like a hockey team that rescued a bunch of Filipino kids from a cave? No. They invaded the sovereign nation of Ukraine, and also gas prices went way up, and I wonder if those two things are related. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. They super are. But just because OPEC controls 80% of the world's oil reserves does not mean they get to just name their price. Oil price is based on global supply versus demand. Demand tends to go up when things are good and people are driving and constructing buildings and doing sweet donuts in the parking lot. And demand tends to go down when things are bad, people are not constructing buildings, and